Welcome everyone. My name is Kristyn Schaaf, and I'd like to tell you about a company called Pacific Coast Orchard and the process that has gone into finding their brand aesthetic. Based out of Oregon and Washington State, these orchards provide healthy, delicious snacks through a variety of high-quality dried fruits. They encourage consumers, especially their target audience group, leaning more towards women ages 25 to 65 years old, to get more fruits and veggies in their diets while enjoying a healthy snack for themselves or their families. They are in competition with other largely found fruit brands such as Del Monte or Dole. Where this company stands out from its competitors is the more treat-like quality for both kids and adults while still keeping health in mind. The words this company felt were important to their brand were healthy, sweet, Western, family, Oregon, wholesome, American, fruit, natural, and organic. Many consumers can enjoy the benefits of snacking on PCO's dried fruits. Consumers like Cynthia, an older business owner who's always busy but gets through her day by munching on our dried berry blend. Or Lucy, a stay-at-home mom with teens who prefer junk food unless it's PCO's dried fruit, which they can eat like candy. There's young, busy moms like Astrid trying to balance making an income while raising a toddler. Both her and her little girl enjoy sharing many different varieties from PCO in between activities and the daily grind. We also have Kenji, a nature photographer who's always on the move but can take and store PCO's dried fruit with him anywhere he goes. All these consumers have a similarity in their lifestyle: a love for nature, health, and the outdoors. Those are the type of elements we wanted to tie to the brand, the feeling of hiking a great trail or picnics with your loved ones. While other competitors went for bright, bold, and refreshing design elements, I really liked the way Whole Foods kept their 365 brand simple, clean, and natural, which made me feel like I actually wanted to put it into my body as opposed to the unnecessary sugars associated with some fruit brands. Keeping things clean but also whimsical was important to me while choosing a display font for the brand. I wasn't sure in this stage which direction I'd go, but later in the process, Finlay ended up looking great with the design I was putting together. For the info level font, I wanted it to be readable but modern, and loved how the long straight letters of Dunbar Low stood out even with such little boldness. During the sketching stages, I had a few different favorites, but ended up getting the best feedback on designs 2, 3, and 4. So those are the designs I decided to try to play around with. The bucket of apples design was easy to modify and add extra elements to, like the evergreen trees or orange slice. The design with the orchard on top of berries was harder to tweak because I already really liked the way it came out when I replicated the sketch, but playing around with so many fonts was an important part of the process and showed me that this design was great for the whimsical aspect I was going for. With the orchard on a coastal hillside design, I felt this could look very professional if only I could get it right. I felt this design would have needed more detail to look correct, and that might not translate well to a logo on a smaller design. In order to avoid that, I tried to focus on only two things at once, like water and trees. With the orchard on berries design quickly becoming my favorite, trying it out on the test package turned out nicely. I also enjoyed the simplicity of this design with the bucket of apples in front of a fruit slice. Again, this design would have looked nice if I could have spent more time getting the waves to look right in their vector form, but I felt time was better spent elsewhere at this point in the process. So I wound up choosing this design, Orchard on Berries as I call it. I felt it had great weight in both its vertical and horizontal version. And here's the final design in color. Everything is feeling warm and wholesome while keeping the brand's originally requested Pantone color in mind, a lovely soft tangerine. Playing with the color exploratory brought me to the realization that I wasn't going to narrow it down to just one scheme necessarily, but more a direction. I loved the right and left complementary schemes and wound up combining them for the final result. While designing the business package, I wanted to bring in other elements that embodied the brand, like this borrowed fruit slice or tree doodles from my other designs, and this nice wood grain I got from the Adobe stock. The letterhead is definitely whimsical and friendly, but also still muted and light enough to be clearly read. We kept that same aspect with the envelope so it could be easily written on, but also feels like an exciting thing to open up. Here's the whole business package together so you can get a feel for how it will really look. And here's my color palette in both CMYK and RGB values. starting with the brand's requested Pantone color, and then a nice tree reminiscent brown, some cooler tones to represent berries, and a lighter, less saturated version of the Pantone color. Here's my first package design mock-up. I loved the wood grain on the business cards and wanted to connect these, but ended up worrying that this may not stand out on a shelf very well, being in such a light and muted color palette. For my second mock-up, I wanted to go more bright, more contrast, more kid-friendly, for the moms who shop for their kids. This one was fun, but didn't quite feel on brand enough. So we had too much on brand, then not enough on brand, but this third design felt just right. It added the element of treating yourself as it comes across a little more fancy than the other designs. It stands out with its bold contrast and also uses the company's requested color as the main front panel, which just felt right. The final design is clean, eye-catching, and desirable. Hopefully something you'll consider grabbing next time you want a healthy, refreshing treat for yourself. All right, thank you for watching my presentation on Pacific Coast Orchard, you guys. Have a great rest of the day.